Hello and welcome back to Auto Social UK. If you're looking to purchase a family SUV, then you're pretty much spoilt for choice. But the SEAT Ateca seems to offer a really good all-round value for money package. In today's video, we're going to be looking at one of the entry-level trims. This is the SE technology paired with the manual gearbox and the 1 litre 115 brake horsepower engine. If that sounds good, then please make sure you carry on watching. And if you want to see more videos like this, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. So I was actually due to have one of the higher trim level cars, but when SEAT messaged me and said that they only had the SE technology available, I wasn't disappointed at all, because realistically this is the car that most people would be looking to buy. They come in 6 different trim levels. You've got the SE technology, which is this one here. You then have the FR Sport, which of course look a little bit sportier, and then you have the top of the range Experience and Experience Luxe. But for the entry-level car, this SE technology doesn't look anything but dull. The SEAT Ateca did get a midlife facelift in 2021, and that gave you some restyled front and rear bumpers and just an all-round more aggressive look. Further design changes have been made to the front air intakes, the skid plate and the bumper. Full LED headlights and tail lights are standard fit. There are LED front fog lamps, and FR models additionally receive rear indicator lights that scroll in the direction that you're turning. The designers have also added some body sculpting across the bonnet, which you'll also find on the new SEAT Leon and also the larger t-roc. Around the back, the physical tailpipes have been replaced by the standard offending plastic. The updated model is easy to spot because the newer model uses handwritten script on the Ateca badge, while the old one had block capitals. SEAT has made good use of the space in the Ateca. It's a relatively compact vehicle, measuring in at 4,381mm, or just 3mm longer than a Ford Focus. But somehow it stretches the interior to allow adults to relax in both the front and rear seats at the same time. Space in the rear of the Ateca is really good. I've got tons of head space, and I've actually got quite a reasonable amount of arm space, even if there was 2 more people sitting back here. There is a relatively high tunnel, but I've still got quite a lot of foot space, and I wouldn't impede in the other passengers as there's quite a lot of room either side. I've got 2 ISOFIX fitments, I've got 2 USB-C charging ports, and you even get a pull-out cup holders. And then to make space even more practical, you've also got a load-through ski hatch. There's more space in the back of the Ateca than you'll find in the competitor, the Nissan Qashqai. The boot is one of the most accommodating in its class, capable of lugging up to 510 litres of luggage. Note that the 4-wheel drive models do have slightly less space. There's no nifty sliding rear bench here, and opting to go without the spare wheel gives you another deep storage space, though I think I prefer to have the wheel. The interior of the Ateca feels spacious and practical. The only thing I would say is it's more functional than it is exciting. In here is just a little bit dull, especially in this entry-level SE technology trim, as they've opted for a grey cloth on the seats and also on the door cards. But then again, that is the same as if you go for Volkswagen or Skoda. The entry levels do tend to be more practical than they are exciting. If you go for the FR trim, then things get a little bit nicer, with some more bolstered front sport seats and some red stitching. Despite this being one of the entry-level models, it's got plenty of equipment. I've got a satellite navigation as standard, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is actually wireless. And something I really love about this is when you first connect your Apple CarPlay, it'll ask you if you'd like to do it wireless or if you're happy to just do it from the wire. Now, why I like this to give you the option is things like the Mini automatically do it, and every time you get in, it automatically connects. And every time you check your phone when you're sitting static, it cancels off your radio and things like this. So it's actually quite nice to be able to have to plug it in and take it out, and then you have control over when it's working. So it's nice that it gives you the option. I've also got dual zone climate control, which is automatic, and physical dials. So that's really handy to have. I've even got wireless phone charging, which is super handy. And then on top of all of that, I've got keyless entry and start, which are things that you expect to see in a more premium model. However, things that it's missing are things like automatic lights and automatic wipers. It just seems a little bit of a strange bit of spec to be missing when you get so many goodies over the top. But realistically, you can leave it turned on at all times, and you also, I'm not really fussed about the automatic wipers, so in general, I really like the spec that you get. The Ateca functions really well as a family car. It feels really spacious in the front here, and I've got plenty of storage, including some deep door bins. I've got a substantial glove box. I've also got some storage under the driver's seat, but where it's lacking is in cup holders. So the driver can have a coffee and enjoy it, and that will fit in there fine. But if a second person wants to have a coffee, that's where you're going to struggle, because you can't actually fit two cups in these cup holders. You can only fit one cup and something like a Red Bull. Now I find that a little bit annoying in a family car. My test car is fitted with the smallest engine that SEAT put in the Ateca, and that's the 1 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol, producing 115 brake horsepower. Now if those outputs sound familiar, that's because it's the same engine that goes in the t-roc and also the t-cross, which I have covered both of on my channel. And if you followed me for a little while, you'll know that I absolutely rave about this engine. In fact, I rave about it so much that I even convinced my mum to get one in her t-roc. Sure, with a 0 to 62 time of nearly 11 seconds, it's hardly a performance car, but I think you'll find for most people the 1 litre engine is more than enough power for short journeys. The only time it might become a little bit troublesome is if you're doing any particular tough terrain. It may start to not cope very well with really big hills. Talking of hills, that was my main complaint with the MG ZS that I drove the other day. It struggled getting up hills. Well, the SEAT Ateca is completely different. It is much nippier and it really does go up hills a lot better. That probably is because it does have a 6th gear. And having 6 gears is a huge benefit. If you go for the 1.5 litre, then you can also have a 7-speed automatic, which is a dual clutch, and as we all know, the Volkswagen dual clutches, other than being slightly jerky on low speeds, are really superior. But actually this 6-speed manual is really good as well. It's really smooth and the gear changes are simple, and actually it copes more than well enough. And because you have that 6th gear, once you get up to the higher speeds on motorways, it's actually reasonably quiet as well. SEAT's trump card is always going to be their handling. It's so sharp and responsive. Perhaps in this 1 litre version, it's not quite as impressive as if it was paired with the 1.5 or even the 2 litre petrol. But even in this 1 litre, it really does feel a lot of fun to drive and not quite like an SUV as you'd expect. Of course, it's not going to be quite as sharp as something like a hatchback, but for an SUV, the body roll is actually quite good and it's really quite engaging. If you're somebody that needs an SUV but also wants a bit of engagement whilst driving, then I'd definitely opt for the Ateca. SEAT claim that you can get between 39.2 and also 45 miles per gallon. Now I don't drive particularly spiritedly and I'm getting around 39 miles per gallon, which, don't get me wrong, is very good. But I think you'd struggle to get 45 because as driving go, I'm probably as sensible as it gets. So perhaps that 45 is a bit of a push. But in terms of a petrol engine, that's still pretty good figures. Every Ateca is below £40,000, so that means they're going to be £140 to tax a year. They get a 3-year and 80,000 mile warranty, which, to be honest, does sound a little bit below other cars on the market. Things like the MG ZS and also the Kia offer up to 7 years warranty. But in terms of reliability, SEAT have scored pretty highly. So really, you shouldn't have too much trouble. And as long as you're going for a PCP, you're probably going to be keeping it within warranty anyway. The Ateca scored well in all of its NCAP crash testing, gaining 5 stars. It comes with an average amount of safety equipment. I've got front assist and also fatigue warning. However, it doesn't get any blind spot monitoring or your lane departure warning, which does tend to be quite standard across the classes. It is lacking in a weird amount of spec really. I haven't got any automatic lights or automatic wipers, which I know are standard on the Tiguan, and I also haven't got any adaptive cruise control, which I also know are standard on the Tiguan. However, adaptive cruise control is still quite rare in this class. It's just something that they like to put on a lot of Volkswagens. All trim levels come standard with surround parking sensors, and you also do get the visual aid that shows you where the steering wheel's facing, which I really like because it means that you can always park up straight with your wheels facing forward. Is it just me that's a bit pedantic about that? If you step up to the higher spec models, you do get a 360 reversing camera, and the top spec you also get aerial view. But in terms of parking the SEAT Ateca, the views out the back are actually pretty good. So you shouldn't have too much trouble parking it, even though it's a larger vehicle. But as if parking the Ateca wasn't already easy enough, it also comes with a park assist where the car will park itself. The SEAT Ateca does everything you need a family SUV to do, and it looks great whilst doing it. This SE technology trim offers really good value for money, but if you wanted some sporty styling you could go for the FR, and if you needed more power then you could opt for the 1.5 or the 2 litre petrol. But realistically, this SE technology does everything you need it to do, and that 1 litre engine is brilliant as long as you're just nipping around town and not tackling too tricky terrain. If you wanted a great deal on the SEAT Ateca, then please make sure you head to leaseloco.co.uk. LeaseLoco is the UK's biggest lease comparison website, where you can scroll through hundreds of plans at all different options to make sure you get the best possible deal. There is an amazing deal in which you can get a brand new SEAT Ateca in the sporty FR trim and paired with the smooth DSG gearbox for just £230. Yes, you did hear that right, £230 with a £3,000 deposit. Other deposit plans are available and prices are of May 2021 and may change. So to get a great deal on the SEAT Ateca, then make sure you click the link in my description box and head to LeaseLoco. This isn't sponsored, but it is an affiliate link. If you've enjoyed this video, then go ahead and give it a massive thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, bye!